Okay guys, sorry for the delay. This is what we're going to create. Okay, so a lot of you guys asked about the hinging of the effect within the promo that we did over at Barry Waymiller. So what I'm going to do here is show you a way to do that, and then also we're going to incorporate a little bit of fun. Go ahead and go out to our Dropbox, and if you look in your Dropbox, you'll see the 2019-09-23 Class 5 frames and text treatments. So go ahead and download that or save it to your desktop or whatever. Inside the images folder, you're going to see the dash periodic table 1 and the dash Walter file. So let's go ahead and select both of those and import them. So we're going to make that same animation that you just saw, except we're going to use Walter White. So let's grab Walter here and drag him down, create a new composition out of him. There he is. Hi Walter, how are you? Anyway, we've got Walter, and now let's put him into the subcomps folder. Let's move these guys too. Okay, now Walter needs to go in his own master comp. Let's do a new comp. Let's call it 03 Walter hinged. And we're going to make this 1920-1080. And let's make it 6 seconds. 0600, click OK. There we go. Got the masters folder. And then let's bring Walter in. He's a little large, so hit scale, bring him down. That's S for scale, for those of you that don't remember. Okay. And he runs out here, but that's okay. We're just given the 6 seconds so that we have a little bit of room to move. So what we're going to do is, now that we have our first Walter, we're going to grab our rounded rectangle tool. Okay. And let's change this to one view so that we can see a little better. And just go up to the corner. Let's cut this into 4 pieces. So I'm just going to really guesstimate here. I can adjust these later, or I can not adjust them later, but let's make the mask a distinct color. And then, like we did before, we'll duplicate, take the lower one. We're going to hit V because we're not creating a new mask. We're actually just moving the mask. And if you kind of line it up with the top and then use the arrow keys, I went 6 steps down with the mask. Make sure that the mask is actually selected. If it's not selected, then you'll actually move the image itself. And you don't want that, because then Walter will look even weirder than he already looks. So, all right, let's hit return. We've got our first one. Excuse me. Let's duplicate number 2. Drag that down. Oh, and on that second one, let's change the mask color to a light blue. We're just basically separating those colors a little bit. Alright, select your lower one, double click on the mask. Make sure you're selecting on the edge of the mask and double clicking. If you move the image, it's going to throw you off. Okay, so let's line it up. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hit enter. Click out of there. I think we need a little more movement. Double click the mask. 1, 2, 3. That was actually 9 clicks. That's too much. Let's try that. That was 2 more up. Yeah, that worked for me. Okay, let's select this lower one. Duplicate it. Double click the mask. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the masks are not a little further apart than I'd like. Okay. That works for me. I'm liking it. Okay, so we've got all that. We've got Walter divided up into his 4 slices. So now let's go ahead and make these 3D. Easier to close all that out. Alright, so in order to make the hinging, we need to move this anchor point up to the edge of each one of these layers so that it kind of flips like a blind of some sort. So we can select the pan behind anchor point tool, and this allows us to move those anchor points. So we just want to move the anchor point, oops, straight up, and if you hold shift it'll lock down. Alright, so that's that guy. And we'll select the next one, move it up, and select the next one, move it up, lock it in with the edge, and this one's going to move down. Okay, so now if we hit R for rotation and we move their Y, they're all going to rotate like that, okay? Which is basically how we got that effect in the production there. So what I'm going to do is undo that. I'm going to go out to 1 second. I'm going to set a keyframe for Y on all of my layers. Okay, and then I'm going to go back. Let's go back 10 frames, and I'm going to pull the layer forward to about 70 degrees, or negative 70 degrees. Alright, so now they'll all land like that. Alright. So now I want to stagger them, right? So we're going to use that technique that we did earlier, and we'll hit Option, Start Bracket, go to the next keyframe, Option, End Bracket, and then if we right click and say Keyframe Assistant, we'll sequence the layers, no overlap, and then go to the end, hit Option, End Bracket, stretch those all back out. Now if we hit 0, let's go ahead and end our clip at 4 seconds. Actually, let's bring these guys all the way down. We'll end and our clip right at the end of this one, which is 310. Okay, and if we do a RAM preview, alright, so 310, we'll hit letter N, close that out. Alright, that's it. Just kidding. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to use an expression. Okay, and what you see here is amplitude equals 80, frequency is 1, decay equals 1, t equals time from the endpoint, amplitude times math to sine, open bracket, t times frequency math, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I am not a mathematician, and I don't pretend to be a mathematician. However, there are some really smart people out there that like to make these things, and I applaud them and I thank them very much. But basically what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to control the swing of that layer to a certain amplitude, frequency, and decay. So we're going to copy this. We're going to go back to our Walter hinged, and we're going to hold down Option and click on the X rotation stopwatch. That's going to activate expression control, and we're going to paste that in. Okay, don't hit enter, you just want to click outside of it. If you hit enter, it's going to think that you want to add another. If you click enter, it's going to think you want to add another line, which is not what we want to do. So let's do a RAM preview real quick. Okay, now let's see if we take the amplitude up. See, I hit enter. I don't want that. Let's do Alright, so I like that. I'm going to make my decay a little sooner. So let's do 1.5 here. Do another RAM preview. Okay, I like that. So let's just select that and copy it. Go to the next layer, hold down Option, click X rotation, paste that in, click out. Next one, hold the Option, click the stopwatch, hold an Option, paste that in, copy, paste that in. Next one, hold down the Option, click the stopwatch, paste that in. Now let's do a RAM preview. Alright, so we're getting there. I think the amplitude may be a little much, so let's make it 150. Alright, let's try it again. Alright, so I want to actually give us a little bit of overlap. So I'm going to go I'm going to go 6 frames from the start of each layer. Oop. That's not the right layer. That's my bottom layer. Alright, so let's go back to the beginning. Let's take this guy over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This next guy over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this guy over here. Alright, now let's take a look. So the one thing I feel like we're missing is a little bit of an opacity change here. So let's go 3 frames in. Let's hit T. And we'll activate keyframes. Hit U again. And then let's go back to the beginning layer. And let's make that 0. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll copy that and go to the beginning of each layer and paste that in. Make sure you're at the beginning of each layer. If you're earlier than that, it won't have any effect on your animation, so you don't want that. Alright, so now if we do a RAM preview, kind of gives us a little more natural feel to it. Okay? Let that render out. Okay. So we've got Walter and his animating flippiness happening here. Let's go ahead and right click on our work area and trim the comp to the work area. That way we don't have to think about it anymore. And then hit Command A, select everything, and hit U, close everything up. Let's go ahead and pre-compose this. So Command Shift C. And we'll call this Walter PC. Alright, we're going to need to open that. So now we've got our Walter. He's animating and he's in a HD composition. Now let's grab our periodic table, drop that in behind him. We're going to scale it down to fit a little bit. We need both of these guys to be 3D, as always. And then let's just move the periodic table kind of far back in 3D space. Alright, that works for me. And let's right click, we'll do a new camera. We'll use our beer camera again. And then a new null object. Now, it's really important that we keep ourselves distinct here because we're going to have several camera moves with several cameras. So what we need to do is name this dolly. So if you hit Command Shift Y, that will give you your solid settings. And we're just going to change the name here to Dolly 1. Okay. Now let's parent our camera to Dolly 1. And we're only going to go, we're going to have 3 moves here. So we're going to go to 25 frames. Alright, let's hit P. Just hold down Shift and hit R. Oh, we need our dolly to be 3D. Oops. Okay, there we go. Let's activate all of our keyframes. Alright. go ahead and activate two views. And we want to be a little tighter on Walter. And let's rotate the X and the Y axis a little bit. Okay. We come back to 0. And let's just kind of go the opposite direction. All right. We'll just move it around to wherever we're comfortable. All right, and we're going to end this camera here. So what we're going to do is select our null layer and our camera and hit Option, close bracket. Now, if we do a RAM preview, first of all, Walter's going to be out of focus a little bit. But you'll notice when we hit the end of that camera and that null, it goes back to plain regular old front screen. And so what we want to do here is we want to have him animate in, and then we're going to have the camera angle change to a completely different camera angle. So let's hit U, close those out. Let's create another new camera and another new null object, and we'll change the name of this one, Command Shift Y, and we'll call this Dolly 2. Alright, and we're going to go a frame down, and we're going to begin these two layers. So Option, start bracket, and then let's go down to 2 seconds, and we'll close that camera up, so we'll end that. We need to make this 3D, and then we also need to parent it to Dolly 2. Alright, so now at the beginning of this little null object, let's hit P, hold down R, Shift, and get R for rotation. And let's just bring him face forward here. And then down to the end, and we'll maybe do a little rotation. How'd that look? We'll zoom in on him a little bit. Okay. We're just working on the move now, okay? So let's do another RAM preview. Okay, I don't really like that. I want to juxtapose him a little bit, so I'm going to actually, rotate him on the Z a little bit on this shot, just to kind of juxtapose what's happening here. Let's try that now. All right, that's pretty good. Alright, so on this next one, we're going to again create a new camera. Same as the beer camera before. New null object. Change the name to Dolly 3. Make that 3D and parent the camera 3 to Dolly 3. And go a page down, or a frame down, I should say. And we're going to select the camera in the null, option start bracket, and let's make this guy really close. Hit P and R with the shift key held down, and we'll activate that. And at the end of our composition, let's get him right there in the center. Alright, so let's do a quick RAM preview. Alright, so we got a nice cool little animation with all of the fun stuff going on with our hinging and whatnot. The only problem is stuff's not in focus, right? So let's hit Command A, hit U to give ourselves some space here. And then let's select Walter. I'm going to change his color to green just to give me a nice contrast here. And I'm also going to bring a guide here from the top and from the side. And this is going to give me my center of focus, because our camera is going to be on all kinds of different angles. So if I hit my center of focus, that's going to make the majority of that image in focus. Okay, so if we hit camera 1 and twirl it open, we can see our focus distance. Let's go ahead and activate that. And let's go to the end of this camera. And it looks to me that that is pretty in focus. But as we go down the line, our focus distance here is not lining up. So let's go ahead and get that there. And that way, when we scrub through, he's in focus throughout the move. Alright, let's close that camera. Open up camera 2. Same deal. Activate focus distance. Let's bring it out to our crosshairs. He's in focus. Come to our end here. Bring it back to where he's in focus. Close that camera. Go to camera 3. Open up the options. Activate focus distance. That's obviously really out of focus, but I do kind of like that we're out of focus here. So I'm not going to fully pull back, because I like the idea of kind of seeing his eyes a little bit, but I don't want them totally in focus. So maybe right about like that. Let's go to the end. He's way out of focus now. All right, let's do a RAM preview. Alright, so one thing that I'm seeing that's kind of getting on my nerves is that Walter's animating in later than I'd like. So he's not animating really till about yay. So I'm going to select that, and if I hit the star key, or if you're on a single keyboard with no number pad, you can hold Control 8. So I've made a marker now. I'm going to just drag that down to the beginning of the comp so that when I do my RAM preview, now he's actually animating in. Alright, so let's go ahead and end our composition right here where Walter closes out. Trim our comp to the work area. We've got our action, right? Now, what I want you guys to do for next week is go ahead and add some easing in at the end of this camera move. I'd also like to see you go into the Walter PC and show me how you can add the white to the background. I have not done that intentionally on this because I want to see you guys do it. Okay, and then I'd also like you to choose a completely different theme. So pick a new image for your primary image and a new image for your background. Can be anything. It can be My Little Pony, you know, whatever. So go ahead and do that, and for next week we will talk about some even more exciting stuff. So thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys putting up with me doing the video classes, and I will see you soon.